Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 3 of Across the NFL, here on Huddle Breakdown, where we'll take a look at last week's game, week 2, against the Tennessee Titans, where the Jacksonville Jaguars get their first win on the season, 28-21. We'll also look ahead to the Jags week 3 game, as well as look at the action across the league in week 2. But we'll start with some highlights here today, as Minshew's in the shotgun. This is a tremendous catch for a touchdown by Tyler Eifert. There you see it. It's really has a chance to go down as one of the greatest catches in this series, and we are just 2 episodes in. It's a tremendous catch by Tyler Eifert in the end zone, and as I said, really could be one of the best. Here now, a bad play here at the end of the first half. Westbrook's in motion. I roll to the right. Here we're going to slow it down, and look, Westbrook has all that green grass right in front of him. I don't see it. I throw check down to DJ Chark. It's a 4th down, and we have to punt after that, and unfortunately can't get anything going on that drive. We'll pick it up here in the second quarter, as here's just a fumble on a sack. A lot of turnovers in today's game. There is another one there, as unfortunately the ball gets turned over. And now here we pick it up. It's 14-14. Another turnover here. This one I don't think was really on me. I think the read was okay. It's just a bad throw by Minshew. You got to get that out and front and really in front of the receiver. He doesn't there. Here's another interception. There you see 2 receivers on the left wide open. I was working right to left, and I just don't get Eifert. When I decide to throw it to him, he's not the defender's not in great position, but it does get intercepted, and another interception there. Here, another turnover, this one by Chenault. Could have had a chance to go up with the go-ahead touchdown there. We get fumbled, but it doesn't matter here, as we'll look at the go-ahead touchdown, the official go-ahead touchdown of the game. It's an audible. It's a throw, a high-point pass to Laviska Shenault. I made sure it was a high-point pass. I wasn't going to get a turnover. I wanted it to go either through the back of the end zone or no one would get it. And luckily we get the touchdown there to Laviska Shenault. We'll now take a look across the NFL. We'll start in week 2 on Thursday night, where the Cincinnati Bengals defeated the Cleveland Browns 29-19. Cincinnati now goes to 2-0, where both quarterbacks threw for 2 touchdowns. A.J. Green got a touchdown himself, and the Bengals will take a top seed in the AFC North at 2-0. We move to the Giants and Bears, where the Giants defeat Chicago 38-30. Giants' first win on the season is a close one. Daniel Jones, 234, 2 touchdowns on the day. But check the stats for strong safety Jabril Peppers. 3 tackles and 2 interceptions. The 2 interceptions were the only 2 that Mitchell Trubisky threw, and the Giants only punt once in their close victory, 38-30, on top of Chicago. Now to Tampa Bay, where the Carolina Panthers lose big to Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay offense, 40-17. Teddy Bridgewater just 60 yards on the day, 1 interception. Christian McCaffrey has a good day on the ground, but check the stats on Mike Evans. 10 catches, 180 yards, 542 total yards for Tampa Bay, and an easy 40-17 win on top of the Carolina Panthers. Now to the Steelers and Denver game, where Pittsburgh wins 24-14, a 10-point victory on top of Denver. Big Ben, 2 touchdowns on the day, as well as Colin Kaepernick. He did have an interception. And Bud Dupree getting in the stat sheet here. 2 tackles, a sack, and an interception, the only interception of Colin Kaepernick. Chris Boswell hits a 57-yarder in the 4th quarter to help the Steelers stay on top of Denver and get to 2-0 on this young season. Now, the Los Angeles Rams get a 24-13 win on top of the Philadelphia Eagles. Jared Goff played all right, 127 and a touchdown. Devontae Freeman rushing the football had a great day. 18 carries, 160 yards, and a touchdown. A career day for him. And Carson Wentz not able to get the Eagles on top. Now down in Dallas, where the Cowboys lose, the Falcons get their first win on the season, 31-25. Matt Ryan, 430 yards on the day, 3 touchdowns. Calvin Ridley, a big day, 10 catches, 129 yards. Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper played good, but Mike McCarthy starts his Dallas tenure, now 0-2 in an overtime loss to the Falcons. We go to Green Bay, where the Packers lose in a close one to Detroit. Detroit gets their first win on the season as Stafford throws for 3 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers throws for 4, but not enough as that defense gives up 35 points. Kenny Golladay with 10 catches, 130 yards, and Allen Lazard, 6 catches for 61 yards and 2 touchdowns. But 28 points in the fourth quarter gives the Detroit Lions their first win on the season and Matt LaFleur's first loss inside the division as a Green Bay Packers head coach. Now to Indianapolis, where the Vikings get a win, 23-17, on top of the Colts, who beat the Jags last week. Kirk Cousins didn't play great, but that defense and the supporting cast on offense did enough to get a win in Indianapolis, with the Vikings having a time of possession of 49-25, a big advantage for the Vikings there against the Colts. Now to the Bills-Fins game, where it was a defensive struggle, which is rare to see in this year's league. The Bills get the 14-6 win to go to 2-0 on the season. Josh Allen, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Stephon Diggs, a good day, 9 catches, 108 yards, and a touchdown. Tua played all right. Look at the stats for Xavier Howard, 7 tackles, a tackle for loss, and an interception, but it wasn't enough as Jason Saunders, the kicker, goes 2 for 2, not enough to propel them to a win over the Bills. Now to New York, where the 49ers go to 2-0, 42-24, on top of the New York Jets. Jimmy Garoppolo, 289 yards, 5 touchdowns on the day. There you see Trent Taylor, 2 catches for 22 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a lot of 2s. And the 49ers get 17 sacks of Sam Darnold and cruise to a 42-24 win. Washington and Arizona, where Washington gets their first win on the season. Dwayne Haskins played all right, but check the stats on Matthew Ioannidis. 7 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 2.5 sacks. A career day for him. And Ron Rivera gets his first win with the Washington football team. The Chiefs and the Chargers is a close one. Justin Herbert, 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Mahomes, 253, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Hardman had a good day, as well as Hunter Henry, the tight end for the Chargers, 3 touchdowns. But ultimately, the Chargers get a 24-20 win on top of the Chiefs. The Chiefs drop to 0-2, and Herbert gets his first win in the National Football League after a rough week 1. Now to Houston, where the Ravens get a 27-14 win on top of the Texans. Lamar Jackson had a good game, as well as Pernell McPhee. 5 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 2 sacks. Another career day there for a defensive player. And a bad showing for the Texans defense as they fall 27-14. Now to Seattle, where they get their first win on the season and hand the Patriots their first loss in the post-Brady era. 38-14. Russell Wilson, 4 touchdowns on the day. Greg Olsen gets a touchdown in a Seahawks uniform. Wagner gets 2 of the 3 interceptions of Cam Newton, and they cruise to a 38-14 win. And the final game in Week 2 was a good one, where the Saints were able to pull ahead late, get the win on top of the Raiders, 28-14. Drew Brees, 398 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick, but Michael Thomas with a career day, 10 catches, 215 yards, and those 3 touchdowns from Drew Brees. Darren Waller had a good game as well. Both kickers did miss a field goal in this game, but the final score is 28-14, Saints with the win. We'll take a look at some league signings now. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers re-signed the recently retired Rob Gronkowski, 4-year, $40 million for him, and the Cowboys re-signed Dak Prescott, 4 years, $129 million. I think a good contract overall for both sides. Now we'll turn our attention to the draft. As you saw, we will use an auto-generated class, the Madden-created players, and this Jags team is really so bad that I don't really have a position in mind right now. We're just kind of scouting the best players in the class, seeing who is available. Though you see, I don't scout the first two quarterbacks. I don't think we're going to go quarterback here right now. I think this team is okay at quarterback with Gardner Minshew. I guess we'll see how the season goes with that, but we're just trying to see all the positions. I think lineman is a very big need for us. That could be early. Safety is a need for us. Ben McCord here looks like a good early round prospect from Georgia. You see linemen we scouted a lot, and really that decision will come later in the year. So assigning, we signed James Robinson. When I made this franchise, he wasn't on the roster. This was a player that I transferred to be James Robinson. I added all his stats, so that is exactly what he was when he entered the game. We'll turn our attention now to next week's Week 3 game. It's a Thursday night primetime game for the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Miami Dolphins. It wasn't a good week last week, though, for the Dolphins. No touchdowns in the game. Tua didn't play great. No touchdowns, no interceptions, as you saw earlier in the Across the NFL segment, a breakdown of the game. Here, a little more in-depth look, and not a lot good for the Dolphins this last week. They did get a couple sacks, but other than that, a pretty bad performance for this Miami Dolphins team, although Saunders did get 2 kicks there. Injury-wise, nothing big. Allen Hurns and Vince Beagle, but nothing big for the Dolphins. That will wrap things up for us here in Episode 3 of Across the NFL. We hope to see you Thursday for Week 3 action. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you around at the next Huddle Breakdown.